What's up, you guys? Welcome back. And now I'm gonna get to the next console I got. Go back in time. I had to skip a few because I don't own them anymore. I used to own an original Xbox, but that died. I used to own a PS2, that died. Never owned a PS1, but my dad had one in the house. So it wasn't mine, but I played it. It wasn't my actual system. Rewind back further, and I got this thing right here. If you guys remember this, Sega Dreamcast. I used to have a few games for this system, but I don't remember what I did. I traded them or something, but and man, it's hard to find any Dreamcast games at any place around here. Usually the only Dreamcast games I can find are sports. But I do own one game for this system. And that is Evil Dead, Hail to the King. Only game. And I thought it was a pretty fun game. I'm glad I own this, you know. It goes with the Evil Dead collection in the background, but gosh, I ain't played this in forever. And too bad about Dreamcast. It should have survived longer, or I felt like it should have lasted longer than it did. But Sega Dreamcast, Evil Dead. Let's get on with the next console and games. Okay, now I just showed you the Sega Dreamcast, and now I did own a Sega Saturn, but I either gave it away to a friend or I sold it. And I had a few games on there like Alien Trilogy, which is a really cool game, I thought. But we're going to stay with Sega. I'm going to bring this out. You got Sega 30 or the 32X, Sega CD, and the Model 1 Sega Genesis. Since we're going backwards, we're going to start with the 32X. I've only got one game for that system, and that is Doom. I think this is probably the only game I ever owned for the 32X. The Sega CD, I only have 2 games for that. I had a few more, but I'll show you this one first. Lethal Enforcers. I don't even remember this. What is this? This is a shooting game. I don't really remember it because I barely played it. But this game I loved. I loved this game when it was at the arcade, and that is Final Fight. You know, you got Hagar and Guy and Cody. Final Fight is a really awesome game. This has always been one of my favorites, you know, back when it was in the arcade. So now, let us get to the Sega Genesis. The Sega Genesis is probably my favorite video game system of all time. Since I've been playing video games, I mean, 360's got great graphics and PS2 had good games and stuff, but I don't know. Sega Genesis is probably my favorite system. I don't know, I guess, you know, nostalgia, I guess, I don't know. But let's get to the game. Of course, you can't talk about the Genesis without talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. It's the game that came with it. This game had jams on it, man. I mean, the Spring Yard, the music to the Spring Yard zone, that's the jam right there. I mean, you can play, that's the type of song or music you can play in a club, man. That's awesome music. Now, this game is probably my favorite game on the Genesis, and that is Streets of Rage 2. I love beat 'em up games, and I wish they would make more. I mean, I wish that they would remake this. Here's Streets of Rage 3. Remake this series, reboot it. I mean, they remade other old school games into something. Like, come on, man. Bring Streets of Rage back. Great games. awesome music in both of those games. Golden Axe. Was a big fan of Golden Axe when it was at the arcade. Uh, Great stuff. Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Awesome. Awesome. Street Fighter 2 arcade game was awesome at the time. And to finally own it on a Genesis was pretty awesome. And we got Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2. In my opinion, Mortal Kombat 2 is probably the best Mortal Kombat game that's ever come out, other than probably the latest Mortal Kombat. But was never really in the fighting game. These three, this is really the only time that I ever played fighting games. I'm not good at them, but I enjoyed those. Here is Jurassic Park on the Genesis, of course, and here is this is my sister's game, Aladdin. She used to play the mess out of this game. Now the rest of these games are sports games. That's one thing about Sega Genesis, is that they had awesome sports games, and I was a huge sports fan back in the day, so maybe that's one reason why I really like the Genesis. Lakers versus Celtics. Awesome game. Tecmo Super NBA Basketball. This game actually isn't mine. This is Iron Wizard's game. NBA Jam Tournament Edition. This was a cool arcade game when it was out at the time. NHL 96. It's not better than NHL 94. NHL 94 is like probably the best hockey game I've ever played. Awesome game. NBA Live 97. That Mitch Richmond on the cover. John Madden Football 93. This is probably maybe my favorite Madden game. I can't really buy sports games now, man, because it seems like, you buy one and it's outdated the next year, and you buy that and it's outdated. So I can't keep buying sports games over and over. NFL Football 94 starring Joe Montana. Pretty awesome game. And NFL 95, you got Montana on it. I ain't played these games in ages, but that's my Sega Genesis collection, my Sega 32X collection, and Sega CD collection. So in this, and cut to the next part, we go even older.